The Government of India Act of 1858. The significant act was enacted in the wake of the revolt of 1857, also known as the First War of Independence or the Sepoy Mutiny. The act, also known as Act for the Good Government of India, abolished the East India Company and transferred the power of government, territories and revenue to the British Crown. The features of this act were as follows. It provided that Indian henceforth was to be governed by and in the name of Her Majesty. It changed the designation of the Government General of India to the Victory of India. Viceroy of India. Viceroy, was the direct representative of the British Crown in India. Lord Canning thus became the first Viceroy of India. It ended the system of double government by abolishing the Board of Control and Court of Director. It created a new office, Secretary of State for India, vested with complete authority and control over Indian administrations. The Secretary of State was a member of the British Cabinet and was responsible ultimately to the British Parliament. It established a 15-member Council of India to assist the Secretary of the State for India. The council was an advisory body. The Secretary of State was made the chairman of the council. It constituted the Secretary of State in council as a body corporated, capable of suing and being sued in India and in England. The Act of 1858 was, however, largely confided to implement the administrative machinery by which the Indian government was to be supervised and controlled in England. It did not alter in any substantial way the system of the government that prevailed in India. Indian Council Act of 1861. After the Great Revolt of 1857, the British government felt the necessity of seeking the cooperation of the Indians in the administration of their country. 3 acts were enacted by the British Parliament in 1861, 1892 and 1909. The Indian Council Act of 1861 is an important landmark in the constitution and political history of India. The features of this act were as follows. It made a beginning of the representative institutions by associating Indians with the lawmaking processes. It thus provided that the Viceroy should nominate some Indians as non-official member of his expanded council. In 1862, Lord Canning, the Viceroy, nominated 3 Indians to his legislative council: the Raja of Benares, the Maharaja Patiala, and Sir Dinkarla. Second point, it initiated the process of decentralization by restoring legislative power to the Bombay and Madras presidency. मतलब सेंट्रल रूल ख़त्म कर दिया और मतलब स्टेट वाइज रूल बनाना चालू किया. ठीक है, मतलब इसको सेंट्रल कंट्रोल नहीं करता था, जैसे स्टेट वाइज कंट्रोल करते हैं ना, वैसे जैसे महाराष्ट्र हो गया, गुजरात हो गया. ठीक है, लेकिन उस टाइम के अलग स्टेट्स थे. It thus reversed the centralizing tendency that started from the Regulating Act of 1773 and reached its climax under the Charter Act of 1833. जैसे कि पिछले वीडियो में देखा था अपन ने, चार्टर एक्ट 1883. ठीक है, दिस पॉलिसी of legislative devolution resulted in the grant of the almost complete internal autonomy to the provinces in 1937. It also provided for the establishment of the new Legislative Council for Bengal, Northwest Provinces and Punjab, which were established in 1862, 1886 and 1897 respectively. It empowered the victory to make rule and order for the most convenient transaction of business in the council. It also gave a recognition to the portfolio system introduced by Lord Canning in 1859. Under this, a member of the Viceroy Council was made in charge of one or more departments of the government and was authorized to issue final order on behalf of the council on matter of his department. It empowered the Viceroy to issue ordinance without the concurrence of the Legislative Council during an emergency. The life of such an ordinance was 6 months. क्या आपको वीडियो ठीक से दिखाई दे रहा है? अगर दिखाई दे रहा है तो प्लीज़ लाइक कीजिए और कमेंट कीजिए यस। क्या आपको वीडियो बराबर दिखाई दे रहा है? क्या आपको वीडियो बराबर दिखाई दे रहा है? ठीक है, बुक में जो लिखा गया है क्या आपको ठीक से दिखाई दे रहा है या ब्लर दिखाई दे रहा है? ठीक है। The feature of this act were as follows. It increased the number of the additional non-official member of the Central and Provisional Legislative Council but maintained the official majority in them. Second, it increased the function of Legislative Council and gave them the power of discussing the budget and addressing the questions to the executives. Third, it provided for the nomination of some non-official member of the Central Legislative Council by the Viceroy and the recommendation of the Provincial Legislative Council and the Bengal Chambers of the Commerce. And B, that the Provincial Legislative Council of the Governor on the recommendation of the District Board, municipalities, universities, trade associates, zamindars and chambers. बाकी का अपन कल देखते हैं। थैंक यू, गुड नाइट।